Hi, you guys. So, today, first of all, I miss you. Today, I am going to do a closed reading with you guys. So you will need your books for this. So what I'm on, and I'll give you a little bit of time here to grab your book, but, on page 258 in the language book, okay? So it's the closed reading, and you guys, if you would just do it. And I know this is crazy with me not there, seeing what you're doing and like hounding you over your back, but we'll go through it. And then when you get done, if you just want to take a picture and email it to me so that I know you did it, that would be great, okay? So anyway, we're on page 258, and we're going to look at those text features again. So remember that, and it's been so long, I feel like, but this one was a nonfiction piece, which means it's true. And so the first thing I need you guys to do on 258 is draw a rectangle around the title. So you should draw a rectangle around Twisters, okay? Draw a rectangle around Twisters. Okay, and then you guys, you're gonna circle that heading, each heading. So you should be circling the headings. So like on the second one, you should be circling tornado categories. And then on the third box, tornadoes in the United States. And then in the fourth box, killer tornadoes. So you should have a circle around those three: tornado categories, tornadoes in the United States, and killer tornadoes. All right? Okay. And then you're going to listen and mark each thing as I tell you as the vocabulary words, okay? So the first one, you guys, you want to highlight is span, which span means, remember, to stretch across. So like if I say, oh, coronavirus spans across the globe, I think by now we all know what that means, okay? So you're going to highlight span. The next one is rank. So you want to highlight that one. Ranks means to compare with one position on another scale. So if we say each tornado will rank differently according to the wind speed, all right? So that's ranks again. All right, the next one was occur, and remember that occur means to happen. It's happening right now, okay? So tornadoes typically occur in the spring. The next one is generate, okay? Generate means to produce or bring into being. So a tornado can generate a lot of debris, all right? The next one you want to highlight is severe. Severe means bad or serious. So severe storms can cause power outages. All right, that one is severe. Your next vocabulary word is develop. You want to highlight that. Develop means to grow into a more advanced or mature state. So tornadoes develop quickly in the spring. So highlight that one, develop. Okay, the next one, entire. Entire means whole or total. Okay, so our entire school is currently out because of the coronavirus. Entire. And then the last one is region. You're going to highlight region, is an area with a certain type of land and climate. So the Great Plains region experiences frequent tornadoes. Okay? All right, so now we're going to go through and we're going to do what proficient readers do, and we're going to go over it. So let's look at that first paragraph, okay? We'll read that one together, all right? So it says, a tornado is one of nature's most powerful, unpredictable, and destructive storms. It has the ability to lift houses off their foundations and hurt them in considerable distances. A tornado usually starts out as a funnel cloud in the sky, and once the funnel cloud makes contact with land, the funnel cloud becomes a tornado. Funnel clouds can be from 2 to 6 miles wide, and a tornado's base can span from 250 feet to more than 200 miles per hour. More than 2 miles. Tornadoes can produce large hail and wind gusts of more than 200 miles per hour, and the average tornado, however, has maximum wind speeds of 112 miles per hour and travels about 1 mile before it falls apart. So like a hurricane, a tornado spins, remember, it spins counterclockwise. It doesn't go, it goes this way, okay? And once a tornado formed, the biggest challenge is predicting its path. So up on the left, you guys know you're going to either circle that question mark or that check mark, showing that you understand what that means, that paragraph, okay? All right, so let's look at this. All right, On lines 1 and 2, there are 3 adjectives that describes tornadoes. Look on 1 and 2, okay? So I'm going to help you out with that. You're going to underline these 3 words are adjectives. Remember, you guys, adjectives describe nouns. So in lines 1 and 2, you want to underline these 3 words: powerful, unpredictable, and destructive. Powerful, unpredictable, and destructive. Those are your 3 adjectives, okay? Then on line 3, what's a synonym for throw? On line 3, remember, synonyms are the same. So what's our synonym? That would be hurl, okay? That means the same thing as to throw. You're going to hurl it, all right? Here's Max. Say hi, Max. Can you guys see him? He's wagging his tail. Okay. All right, then mark what a tornado can do to a house. Do you guys see that? It says what it can do. So the one thing it tells you that it can do there is it says it can lift houses off their foundation and hurt them. So you want to underline or highlight that. Lift houses off their foundations and hurt them. Okay, then how does a tornado start? Okay, so if you look at that, where does it start? And it says it starts out as a funnel cloud. So you're going to underline funnel cloud. Okay, now we're looking at what changes a funnel cloud to a tornado. What changes a funnel cloud into a tornado? So if you look, you're about in line 4-ish. It's when it makes contact with land, okay? When it makes contact with land, so you want to underline that. Okay, then the size of a funnel cloud, okay? Size of a funnel cloud. Do you guys see that? So if you look on, starting on 5 and 6, lines 5 and 6, do you guys see it? It could be 2 to 6 miles wide. So you're going to underline that, 2 to 6 miles wide. And then 2 things produced by a tornado. If you look on line 7, it says it produces what? And it should be large hail and wind gusts. Large hail and wind gusts. So you're going to underline that. And then what's the maximum speed of an average tornado? Do you guys see that on line 9? Look at line 9. It's 112 miles per hour. You want to underline that, 112 miles per hour. And then how is a tornado like a hurricane? And that's what we talked about at the end of the paragraph, where it spins counterclockwise. So that is how a hurricane does too. It goes counterclockwise. So both of those are the same. And then the challenge of the tornadoes is in the very last line, towards the very end of that line. It's predicting the path. Okay. All right, now the next paragraph has the Fujita scale, okay? So let's look at that. It says, the Fujita scale, or the F scale, classifies tornadoes by intensity rather than size. Tornadoes can be weak and intense, whether they are large or small, and the scale ranks a tornado on its wind speed, which can range from gale strength to incredible force. So the table shows the 6 categories of the Fujita scale. And remember, this is different because on a hurricane, it goes 1 through 5. But on this one, we go from 0 to 5. So there's 6 different categories, okay? We talked about that. It's been a while, but okay. Go to the top left again. So you're going up here. If you remember, you're going to go up here on these, and you're going to circle that check mark or the question mark, okay? Now, on line 12, you guys, what's an abbreviation for the Fujita scale? Well, that one should be easy. It's the F scale, okay? So you're going to write that very first line, underline the F scale, all right? Then again, how does it classify tornadoes, okay? In that same line in line 12, okay? It's going to be the intensity, okay? So if right here, I don't know if you can see that, but intensity right there. Okay. All right. Then on On line 13, remember antonyms are different, so mark the antonym pair that describes the intensity of tornadoes. So the two opposites. So on line 13, you've got some opposites there. Can you see what they would be? Okay, it's going to be weak and intense in line 13. Weak and intense. Those are opposites, so you're going to underline those. All right? Okay. Next thing, on line 14, go to line 14, and you're looking for the indicator that determines a tornado's F-scale number. An indicator that determines an F-scale number. So on line 14, you're going to underline, it's the wind speed, all right? Wind speed. Okay, then mark the lowest level of wind speed and the highest. So the lowest would be what? If you're looking at that, okay, go to line 14. On line 14, the lowest one would be the gale strength, okay, gale strength. And then go to line 15, okay. And then you have incredible force, okay. So gale strength and incredible force. Okay, now look at the table, you guys. You've got the Fujita scale there, okay? And we're just looking at the table here. And there are 4 categories of information, okay? So you can just like circle them at the top. So you've got go across, all right? So if we're looking at this, you're gonna go across here. So you're gonna circle, you've got the F scale here, right? Okay, and then you've got the scale number, you've got tornado intensity, and then you have the wind speed and the description of damage. So you're going to circle those headings at the top. All right. And then just really we need to, you kind of just need to be able to know what's the difference between a 0 and the 5. Okay. All right, let's take a look at the last one or the next one, tornadoes in the United States, okay? So it says, the United States have more tornadoes than any nation in the world. During a typical year, more than 1,000 tornadoes occur across the continental United States. More than 30% of these tornadoes occur in Tornado Alley. Most of these tornadoes occur in the spring. In fact, over 55% of a year's tornadoes occur between the months of April and June, when cool, dry air from Canada clashes with the warm, moist air from the Gulf of Mexico. These ingredients, when combined with a storm system, generate severe thunderstorms and, in some cases, deadly tornadoes. Hundreds of tornadoes develop during an average tornado season in the United States. Some bring death and destruction. All right, again, you guys, top left, you're going to circle on those paragraphs the question mark if you understood it and the check mark if you did not, okay? Okay, so the nation that has the most tornadoes. What nation does? Well, it's at the very first line, the United States. We have more than anybody, any other nation, okay? Okay, and then in the first paragraph, there is a phrase that answers when tornadoes occur. So if you look at that, in that first paragraph, it's the very last line in the first paragraph, so line 19 at the end where it says in the spring. You're going to underline in the spring. Okay? Now look at line 19 again, and you're going to put a box around the prepositional phrase, okay, that answers when tornadoes happen. And so you want to put a whole box around in the spring. Remember, you guys, prepositions tell either it's like those things like under a desk, out in the hall, okay, those kind of things, all right? So you're going to put a box around in the spring, all right? Now, also on line 19, there is a prepositional phrase that answers where more than 30% of tornadoes occur, okay, and that would be in Tornado Alley. Again, it's telling it's of space, okay, or of time. All right, so that one is telling us where it's happening. Okay, so it would be like of space. All right, so a box around Tornado Alley. Okay, now in that second paragraph there, circle the phrase that answers how many tornadoes occur between April and June. Okay, so if you are looking at that, On line 20, it says 55%. So you want to circle 55%. All right. Okay, then what happens from April to June that makes tornadoes possible? Okay, so if you look at that and it's talking about that, you're going to underline cool, dry air from Canada clashes with warm, moist air from the Gulf of Mexico. So that's on line 21 and 22. So you're underlining cool, dry air from Canada clashes with warm, moist air from the Gulf of Mexico. Okay? All right. Then, oh, another friend. Look, can you guys see? There's the beagle. Say hi, beagle. There he is. I think he's pouting today. I don't know. So, all right. Anyway, going on with this crazy stuff. Okay, then it wants to know 2 things that can happen when the clash of air combines with a storm system. Well, it tells you right there. Go to line 23, 24. It's telling you there are severe thunderstorms or deadly tornadoes. Okay? Severe thunderstorms and deadly tornadoes. All right? Then, what's the number of tornadoes in the United States during one season? Well, on line 24, it tells you hundreds. So you're going to underline hundreds. All right? And then the 2 things that they can cause on the very last line there on line 25, death and destruction. Death and destruction. Okay? All right, let's read the last paragraph. We're almost done, all right? Tornadoes can be weak, strong, or violent, and strong winds and debris can cause power outages, structural damage to buildings, and even death. Violent tornadoes make up only a small percentage of all tornadoes, but they're responsible for the 2/3 of all tornado deaths in the United States. These killer tornadoes can last for more than an hour, bringing devastation to an entire region. The chart on the next page shows the number of killer tornadoes compared with the number of deaths they caused from 2000 to 2011. Okay? All right, so let's go to that. All right, circle the check mark or the question mark, okay? Go to line 27. What are the effects of the tornado? Okay? On line 27. So what you're going to underline there, power outages, structural damage to buildings, and death. All right. Then 2 things that cause the effects. Do you guys see that? 2 things that cause it. Strong wind and debris. Strong wind and debris. Okay. And then on line 30, an adjective. Again, that's a descriptive word that's describing a noun, right? An adjective that describes the tornadoes, okay, on line 30, okay, you're going to have killer. It's a killer tornadoes, all right, on line 30. Okay, we're going to stop with that, you guys. I think that's enough for today with a closed reading. We'll finish the closed reading later on. Coming up, we just have 2 more paragraphs, and I'll go over those like tomorrow. So I'm glad I got to talk to a bunch of you yesterday. That was awesome, and I hope it's all going well. I really miss you guys. Hopefully we'll be back together soon. So if you need anything, I'm on Google Chats all day, as most of you know, because I've been talking to you guys. So we'll see you soon.